What's up? It's Christian, and today we are going to learn about the basics of astral projection. This is going to be a four-part video. So, the first part is going to be what is astral projection, and I'm going to break it down for you. Second part is what are the pros and cons of astral projection? Are there benefits to it? Are there negatives to it? Three is going to be how to astral project. I'm going to teach you a way that you can astral project tonight. And the fourth part is going to be a story about a one time that I astral projected. So let's get right into it. What is astral projection? Well, astral projection is another name for an out of body experience or an OBE. People often have out of body experiences when they have near death experiences. Maybe they had passed out and they're hovering above their body. Maybe they're undergoing surgery and they experience this feeling. And this is the same thing as astral projection. So it's the exact same thing. When you hear people talking about how they astral projected and went to some other dimension, that's the same thing as when people talk about they had an out of body experience when they almost died and they saw themselves from above the hospital bed, so to speak, or something like that. There's a ton of different stories. And I'm going to get into some of the stories that I've heard from friends and then also stories that I have personally experienced. So, to make things simple, astral projecting is just leaving your body. It's when your astral body or your energy body leaves your physical body and is able to transverse around the astral realm without the luggage of the physical body. So that is what astral projection is in short. And when we astral project, we are not necessarily on Earth, like as you'd like to think about it. We are on astral Earth, which is in the astral plane, which is a whole nother dimension of existence that part of us already operates on a daily basis. We each have an integral part of our personality, which is our astral body. And this part of our personality or our soul or whatever you want to call it is able to exist in the astral realm without our physical body. And it is very cleansing to know this. And I'm going to get into some of that in the benefits section, but you'll realize you can exist without your body. And it's a pretty liberating experience. So now that we know what astral projecting is, let's get into some of the pros and cons of astral projecting. The first major benefit that really helped with me is that it eliminated my fear of death. I have no fear of death now because I am 100% certain that when I die, I will move on to another form. And I know that I am not reliant on my physical body for existence. And I know that because when I astral project, I don't need my body. I'm completely without my body. And some people might say, Christian, what if you're just dreaming? Well, in my story, I will get to the reasoning why I know that I'm not just dreaming, but that will come later in the video. Other benefits, it can actually heal you when you are able to separate your astral body from the physical body. It gives your soul a lot more space to get more rejuvenated energies. So it's very healing to astral project. You can really heal a lot of physical ailments as well as emotional or spiritual ailments in the body by astral projecting. Another benefit of astral projecting is that you can speak to higher dimensional entities or spirit guides and you can get advice from them. So you can be astral projecting and you can meet one of your spirit guides or angels and you can listen to their guidance and they can teach you things about the universe, about existence, and about who you are as a person and who you are supposed to be, what your path is supposed to be on this journey to Earth. Now let's get into some of the cons because unfortunately there are some negative side effects to astral projection. The first side effect is that you can get dissociated from your body. Since you are able to exist in that astral realm and you get conditioned to astral projecting, if you do it too much and too often, then you may start to get dissociated from your body. So when you are dissociated, you will be in a kind of state where you don't feel like you're fully in your body and you maybe don't hear when people call your name. You're kind of zoned out. You are maybe like looking at a wall, like with a blank expression, and you kind of feel somehow dissociated from your body. You don't feel one with your body anymore. And that's because you have too much focus on the astral body, and you need to integrate your soul into the physical body because the physical body is just as important as the astral body, and we need it as a human. So you need to be in sync with it. You can't just spend all your time trying to leave your body and astral project. Another con to astral projection is that you may encounter dark spiritual entities while you're projecting and you may get scared by them. But if you really understand what's going on, then this won't be a big deal because you'll realize that these beings are actually more similar to cockroaches. They're little nuisances that can kind of bother you and they can scare you if you let them, but they're really non-threatening to your actual being. They're not going to snatch your soul. They're not going to implant you with some negative energy or something or hypnotize you in some weird way. None of that's going to happen. The worst thing they can do to you is freak you out and scare you. And they might tell you some things that scare you, or they might just take a form that is very scary. But if you remember your true form, that you are a magnificent being of light, you are an immortal spiritual being, then you'll realize that these small little dark entities are nothing but little cockroaches scurrying in the shadows, and you have nothing to worry about because you are an extremely powerful soul, and they are incredibly scared of your true power. And if you can let your true power shine, they will scurry back away into the shadows. So that can be a con, but if you really understand the dynamics of spirituality, then you'll understand that the darkness is no match for the light, and you don't need to worry about that. But you may encounter situations where you get a little bit scared by entities like that while you're projecting. So now let's get into part 3, which is how to astral project. I'm going to read you the 7 steps that the Monroe Institute puts forth as the best way to astral project. And then I'm going to show you some other ways that are also possible. And if you didn't know, the Monroe Institute is an institute that has been studying astral projection and mapping out the astral realm for about 20 or 30 years. And you can look them up. They have a bunch of cool information. And Robert Monroe, actually, the founder of the institute, is one of the founding teachers of astral projection and teaching it in a modern sense and how to accomplish it. So step 1 to astral project is you need to relax physically and mentally. So the best way I think to do this is to lay down. Some people astral project in a chair and sit down, but you need to completely relax. You need to relax the mind, relax the emotions and the energy, relax the physical body, let go of all the tension, and just really, really get into a relaxed state. Next, you are going to enter a hypnagogic state. So this is called a hypnagogic state. And you do this by observing the colors that flash in front of your eyes while you are meditating or kind of relaxing. You are going to observe. So a lot of times we see kind of these purple bubbles floating in front of our eyes while we're falling asleep. And that's what you have to focus on. And if you could focus on these colors and images that pop up, and just keep your focus on them, you'll achieve a hypnagogic state, which is a state of hypnosis. And then you will be one step closer to the astral realm. Step 3 is to deepen the hypnagogic state by prioritizing these mental images and these mental feelings over the physical. So you're going to take your attention away from the physical body and put your attention fully into these colors and shapes that are coming up with the hypnagogic imagery. Step 4 is to pay attention to the vibration of the moment and the environment that you're in. The deeper your awareness goes into this hypnagogic state, the more you're going to be aware of this subtle vibration that is surrounding you. Step 5 is to incur this vibration from the environment into your physical body. So you can imagine the vibration kind of coming into you and flooding your body. And what this is going to do is it is going to separate you from it'll separate your astral body from your physical body. So you're kind of jiggling it out. You're kind of slowly getting that vibration in. So it's kind of jostling you and separating you from your physical body and getting you prepared to enter the astral realm. Step 6 is to focus your thoughts on leaving the limbs and the torso. So you want to imagine your hands rising up and your feet rising up out of your body. And then you can imagine your torso coming up. And you're going to try to do this one at a time. So one arm at a time. And once you can kind of feel the separation, then you can move on to the next and then move on to the torso. And that brings us to step 7, which is lifting out of the body. You are going to imagine that you are completely lifting out of your body and you are going to separate from the physical body. So now that we went over the Monroe's Institute's way of astral projecting, I'm going to get into the rope method, which was developed by Robert Bruce, who was the founder of the astral dynamics movement. So in this technique, similar to the Monroe Institute, step 1 is to completely relax the physical body and the mind. You can do this by imagining every muscle in the body and then imagining it relaxing one by one. Once you get more and more relaxed, you're going to enter the vibrational state, which is allow that feeling. It kind of may feel like a cell phone buzzing, and it's going to buzz through your whole body, and you allow that feeling to take you over. Step 3, once you are in that vibrational state and once you're deeply relaxed, you're going to imagine a rope is hanging down in front of you. Step 4, you're going to use the astral body or the subtle body, and you're going to imagine that you're grabbing onto this rope and slowly pulling yourself out of your body. In step 5, as you are climbing out of the body, you're just going to imagine completely separating from the physical body. Once you get about 5 feet out of your body, then you will be fully separated from your body and you can explore the astral realm. Now, a third technique, which is very similar to both, is the rolling technique, where you do the same thing, you relax, get into that vibrational state. This is essential because it's separating the astral body from the physical body. And then instead of using the rope technique or instead of using the lifting technique, what you can do is the rolling technique. You can imagine just violently rolling out of your bed. Like, let's say you're laying on your bed, just imagine rolling out of your bed and onto the floor. And you'll notice that you will actually separate from your physical body. Another thing I wanted to point out is that when you separate from your physical body, you will not be able to see until you are about 10 feet away from your physical body. Because what happens is your eyes want to see out of your physical eyes because they're so used to it. So they're going to keep trying to see out of your physical eyes if you're still in range of your physical body. But once you get about 5 to 10 feet away from your physical body, you'll feel a snap. And then you will be separated from your physical body and you will actually be able to look at your body laying on the bed. And it's pretty freaky when you have this happen, but it's actually real. So now for part 4, I'm going to get into some stories about times that I have astral projected. So this video, you may have seen it. I posted it on my TikTok account a while ago, but this is the story of how I came to understand that I am an infinite soul and I am definitely just reincarnating multiple lives and I will never truly die. This is what really showed me that information. So it showed me it for an 100% fact. When I was astral projecting, I achieved the state. I rolled out of my body. I got out of my body. Then I was walking around my house. And I walked downstairs and walked outside of my house. And then I was walking around outside in my neighborhood. And then I started to think, oh, I could probably fly right now because I don't have a physical body. So I started to fly upwards. And then I would notice, and this is a cool life lesson that I learned from this as well. I noticed that when I would be focusing on flying and how exciting it was to fly upwards, I would keep flying. But then when I would look down and focus on how scary it would be to fall, I would start falling. So whatever you focus on becomes your reality. In this sense, it's almost like immediate manifestation. When I'm focusing on going up, I can fly perfectly. It's so easy. But then right when I start to go, what if I fall? Then boom, start falling. And then I go, oh, but flying's easy and it's exciting. Once I'm looking up and I'm excited, I start flying. And once I start getting worried and looking down, I start falling. So you go whatever direction your attention is going. If your attention is going towards higher, fly higher, shine brighter, then that's where you're going to go. And if your attention is going towards, no, don't fall, then you're going to fall. Whether that's in vibration or physically, or in just getting a career off the ground, anything like that, a relationship. It applies to everything. When you're focused on the good, you'll get more good. When you're focused on the bad, you'll get more bad. So I realized this, and then I finally got to flying and just kept flying up. And then I left the Earth's atmosphere, and then I kept flying, and then I was in space in the planets. And then I looked back to Earth, and I saw this weird grid design around Earth. It it was like it looked like all of these Microsoft icons, like like Windows XP Microsoft icons, just placed around Earth, kind of shimmering, and then they had these light blue lines that were connecting them all in a grid-like pattern. And I was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Is how could this actually be there? This must be a dream. That's really weird. That can't be something that's actually there in the astral realm." So I kind of didn't think much of it. I think I kept exploring space for a while, and then I ended up snapping back to my body and waking up, and then didn't really think anything of it. I was like, "That was weird. Microsoft icons, don't know what that is." But then the weird thing that happened was a couple of months later, I was researching some spiritual concepts, and I came across the concept of the Christ consciousness grid. And you can look this up. I'll put an image right here of the Christ consciousness grid. So I saw this thing, I saw images of it on the internet, and it looks exactly like the thing that I saw when I was astral projecting. But at the time that I astral projected, I had no idea that this thing existed. So I literally saw it with my own eyes before I ever learned about it. So that proved to me that this is an actual thing that I actually saw because other people can see it. And I must have actually been out of my body. And if I was actually out of my body existing, that means I don't need my body to exist. And therefore, I am an infinite soul. I'm an immortal soul. I've always existed. I'll never cease to exist. I'll never truly die. I will only change forms. And that is applicable to you as well. So, astral projection really gave me this clear, firm idea that yes, I do exist as a soul outside of my body for 100% fact. And I'm really, really grateful for that. It's been an amazing experience to know that about myself and to have that comfort, as well as it was just a really cool experience to be able to astral project and to be able to look around at everything in the astral realm and to fly. It's just a really awesome thing. It's a really cool thing, and I would suggest anyone out there to give it to give it a try. And I would suggest anyone out there to give it a try. Now I'm going to get into a story that one of my dad's friends told me that happened to him. So he was living in Hawaii at the time, and he's just living this paradise life in this little beach cottage, has these palm trees everywhere you can imagine it, and it's just gorgeous there. And so he was living this perfect life, surfing all the time, but one day he had a random heart attack out of nowhere, and he totally passed out on his driveway, and his friends were freaking out, trying to help him. They got him an ambulance and took him to the hospital. But before that all happened, he said that he actually left his body and had an out of body experience or an astral projection. And he rose up above the house and he looked at the top of his house, which he had never been to the roof of his house before. And he looked up at the top of his house and he saw a tire on the house. He saw a tire on the top of the house. And he was like, "That's pretty weird. Why is there a tire on my roof?" And he had just bought the house like a year or two ago. He had never been up on the roof. He never knew that this tire existed there. He wakes up in the hospital. He still has this memory. So he starts thinking about it. He realizes he's healthy now. Everything's good. He's happy. He's very grateful. And he thinks about it and he's like, I wonder if that tire is actually on my roof. So he goes and he gets a ladder from his friend, borrows it, and then he goes and checks on the top of the roof. And what do you know? He finds the tire on the top of the roof that he had never seen with his physical eyes, but he saw when he was astral projecting 15 feet above his body when he almost died. So that's an intense story. I actually heard that story before I ever astral projected. And I didn't even realize that astral projection was the same as out of body experiences until later on in my spiritual journey. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it through this whole video, I really, really appreciate it. You might as well drop a comment and a like for the algorithm to help me out so I can achieve my goal of healing the entire planet. And I know that sounds like a crazy goal, but you might as well shoot big, right? I'm just trying to heal as many people as I possibly can. And you could help me out with that by doing that. And yeah, I am really excited to watch as this YouTube channel grows. And feel free to leave some video recommendations. If you want some advice on something specific, just comment it on my videos. I'm responding to all of my YouTube comments. So I will respond to you. I will get to you. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.